happy for my performance tonight.
They already know who's the one that signed, who's the one they want
to promote. Yeah.
So there's a lot of times where those young fighters get away with wins that maybe should have gone the other way, or maybe a draw, but they still give them the win.
These judges thrown in jail if they don't give it to him right now, because he won. And when I watched it, I felt he won too.
Manny Pacquiao has expressed deep frustration in a new interview, firmly insisting that he won 8 rounds to 4 against Mario Barrios. He labeled the judges' call as nothing short of a robbery. Legendary trainer Freddie Roach stood by Manny's side, echoing his belief that the fight was clearly Pacquiao's. Roach even pushed for an immediate rematch with Barrios, stating that the only way to silence the controversy is to run it back inside the ring.
We had a great fight. Manny fought very well, and he even had a knockdown in there somewhere that didn't count it. But I thought he won the fight 8-4. But that's the way things go, and we would like a rematch right away. For sure.
Renowned trainer Robert Garcia weighed in with a blunt perspective on the controversial draw. Garcia highlighted how professional boxing has shifted into more of a business than a pure sport, with financial interests dictating many outcomes. According to him, the industry favors protecting young fighters like Barrios, who represent long-term profitability. In contrast, Pacquiao winning at 46 provides no commercial benefit to promoters, which explains why the decision favored business over fairness.
Flavio and Eric.
Okay.
And then next weekend we got Duarte in Chicago.
Duarte's looking amazing.
Chop and Art Barrera in San Jacinto, and then we got like 3 guys in Texas.
Very busy.
Yeah.
So Robert, so much to talk to you about. I don't know where to start. So first of all, why do they keep robbing Manny Pacquiao? He got robbed against Bradley.
I didn't see the fight, but I heard from everybody that he got robbed.
You trust Paulie Malignaggi. He said they robbed Pacquiao.
Man, you know what?
He got robbed with Jeff
It's
Horn.
actually weird, because you see, like the way boxing is, the business is. I'm not saying promoters, because it's the same thing with the business, where you want, like when you have that one fighter that, like when you have a young prospects that are signed to, like managers, judges and commissioners, they already know who's the one that signed, who's the one they want
to promote. Yeah.
So there's a lot of times where those young fighters get away with wins that maybe should have gone the other way, or maybe a draw, but they still give them the win.
Many analysts agree the fight was razor close. Barrios didn't dominate enough to secure a decisive win, but at the same time, promoters weren't willing to hand a loss to a young, rising star against a 46-year-old legend. A draw, therefore, became the safest political compromise, protecting both fighters and the business interests behind them.
Him and Mayweather. Him and Rolly. Rolly's a big fight.
They're huge fights. And if that fight was close enough, even if Manny would have maybe been losing by a little bit, give it to Manny. Give it to Manny. So that one was weird.
He wasn't losing though.
That one was weird for them to give it a draw.
Well, the only reason I thought, which I think is crazy, but it's a total conspiracy, Pita. The whole world, Manny's so popular, everybody bets on Manny. And the return was great money. So if Manny wins, it's going to cost the casinos so much money. But that's a conspiracy, and I don't believe that.
Boxing analysts widely acknowledge that Pacquiao exceeded expectations, performing at an incredibly high level despite his age. Meanwhile, Barrios lacked urgency, charisma, and true aggression throughout the fight. Observers noted that several rounds were largely passive from Barrios, while Pacquiao stayed busy, pressing forward with clean output. On closer review, experts believe Pacquiao should have edged more of those rounds since Barrios simply didn't do enough.
Yeah, Pacquiao did better than I thought he did, and that's like, we get into that weird territory in boxing where you start grading on a curve. That's not how boxing works. And I was like, oh, Pacquiao's doing better. He's probably winning. Oh, he won. But no, he probably didn't. And a draw is he's probably lucky to get a draw.
Yeah, as I was watching it and scoring it, and I was in the live chat with people, and there was just so many rabid Pacquiao fans that were like, every time he did anything, first of all, anytime he did anything in the arena, the place went absolutely bonkers. Like it was going to tear down. He, honestly, he probably fought 50 to 60 seconds around. He did not do much. He didn't need to, because Barrios didn't step on the gas pedal at all at any point. He was so listless and just kind of like ho-humming through it. So Pacquiao was able to steal moments, and he did a really good job of stealing the end arounds and making an exclamation point. And also, we saw flashes of the Manny of old when he would have that little like the flourishing signature on the end of something. He'd make that little movement, bang, he'd pop that left hand, he'd fly out, boom, 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 boom. He'd make those little moves. He'd do
The sharp contrast in energy between Barrios and Pacquiao raised major questions about how the judges came to their scorecards. This fight meant more than just another bout for Pacquiao. Had he been awarded the win, he would have joined George Foreman in the history books as one of boxing's greatest comeback stories. At 46, Manny entered as the underdog, yet he stunned fans and critics alike with his movement, intensity, and sheer determination. A victory would have been monumental not only for his legacy but for the sport itself, a true tale of longevity, grit, and greatness.
Last night, and shit, I got robbed last night. We both in the same boat. Last night, Manny Pacquiao got back in the ring, fresh off retirement, and tried to take the belt from Mario Barrios. He's 46, bro. And he was putting belt to ass the whole fight. Draw is crazy. It's absurd. A draw is wild. That's bad business. If Manny Pacquiao won last night, we would have witnessed history. He would have been the oldest welterweight champion ever. And coming fresh off retirement, the first Hall of Famer to come back and grab a title. He's different. Last night, Manny Pacquiao proved, bro, he 1-on-1. Ain't nobody like Manny Pacquiao. Pac-Man is the truth for real, for real. You can't tell me Pac-Man lost that fight. I'm not going for it. That's cooked. I'm not hearing it. 46. We got robbed, man. Simple and plain. Pac-Man deserved that fight. This draw is bad bit.
What stood out most was Pacquiao's unwavering self-belief. He didn't step into the ring to survive, he came to win. From his footwork to his speed and precision punching, he proved he could still compete at a world-class level. Many fans and experts agree he did enough to secure victory, but politics and age played a role in robbing him of a deserved outcome. This fight became a painful reminder of how fairness in boxing often gets overshadowed by agendas.
The result from last night was 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao going 12 rounds and drawing against the WBC champion. And the craziest part of all of it might be that Manny Pacquiao might have been robbed. I genuinely think that Manny Pacquiao might have won the fight. He looked great, he looked sharp, especially for being a 46-year-old. And this is why I told you guys that Manny Pacquiao's mentality is different. His passion for boxing is unmatched. This is why he's one of the GOATs. From what we saw, we can see that he really put in a lot of work, because in his last fight, I believe it was 5 years ago, he didn't look good. He looked slow. He looked like a 46-year-old or a 40-year-old, because he was 40 years old back then. But he didn't look good, but he looked great. I feel if the rematch happens against Mayweather, which would honestly be an amazing fight because they're both old now, so they don't have any excuse of being like, oh, this guy's past his prime. They're both past their prime. They're both old. But if it happens, I think Manny Pacquiao wins. Floyd Mayweather hasn't fought, and he doesn't have the same amount of passion. He fought Logan Paul and Deji, but this guy fought an actual WBC champion and looked great and could have possibly beat him. He said he's not going to stop boxing, and he honestly has no reason why to stop. Now, obviously, I don't think he's like a top 10 boxer right now, or like currently, whatever, but he can hold his own. If he went against someone like Gervonta Davis, yes, he'd get murdered, but there's a lot of fighters that he can go toe-to-toe with right now. I don't know, Fall From Sport content, we're about him.
Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas offered a more measured take. While acknowledging Pacquiao's admirable performance, Atlas argued that what many fans saw as a robbery may have been colored by emotion and nostalgia. From a purely technical perspective, Atlas felt the judge's call wasn't outrageous, given how competitive and close the fight truly was. He stressed that in boxing, fans often see what they hope to see, not necessarily what unfolded. For Atlas, the outcome reflected the difficult
to the sport, to everybody, and then your mind saying no. And then you have a low bar, like I said earlier, of expectation. Like at 46, you can't expect too much. You hope, because that's what we do. We're fans. We hope, and he's special, and he's magical. People were hoping that with Ali fought Holmes, even though it wasn't practical, even though it didn't make sense. But they were hoping that until reality crashed home. And there was other things going on. Ali had a terrible doctor who was giving him stuff that was bringing weight down, but meanwhile it was causing all kinds of problems. He shouldn't even been in the ring. But again, it was false hope. It was Muhammad Ali. It was the name. It was the history. It was everything he did in the past that made us think he could beat this young tiger, this young great heavyweight Larry Holmes. And we were wrong. It was wrong. And so we were kind of caught in between the same thing with this. Like, gee, are we going to be wrong? Or maybe this time we'll be right? What to do? When that happens and a guy gives a spectacular performance at 46, the way my son just said Manny did, and shows glimpses of the greatness, glimpses here and there. When he does that, I think that the way we're programmed as human beings, we magnify what we saw. We automatically say, he won! He won! That's it! And I want all these judges thrown in jail if they don't give it to him. Right now! Because he won! And when I watched it, I felt he won too. But then, when I got home, my son said, watch it again. And I watched it again with him. It was a very, very close fight with a lot of close rounds. I don't have a problem. You want to give it to him? Go ahead. But I don't have a problem. It was not the robbery some people were saying. There was a fight that happened that night that we'll talk about in a minute. That was a horrible robbery. It wasn't that one. It was not.
From the opening bell, Pacquiao shocked the world with his sharpness and relentless pace. Many expected him to fade after a few rounds, but instead, he went toe-to-toe with Barrios, displaying crisp counters, perfect timing, and intelligent defense. This wasn't just a good showing from a veteran, it was a masterclass that reminded everyone why Pacquiao is considered a legend of the sport.
A 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios went the whole distance, bro. It's actually crazy that this man was last in his prime 10 years ago, bro. And at 46 years old, he still has it. I mean, usually when fighters come out of retirement to fight somebody younger, it is just flat out embarrassing. We all remember the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, and in all honesty, that was one of the worst fights I had ever seen. So when I heard that Mario Barrios was fighting Manny Pacquiao for the title, believe me, I did not expect this man to be out there looking like he's still in his prime. This dude is built different. I don't care. This guy is generational. Easily one of the GOATs of boxing entertainment. But unfortunately, Manny Pacquiao did not win the fight. But he also did not lose the fight because it ended up as a draw. Imagine going up against somebody that is undefeated in his prime years, in his mid-20s, and still coming out of the fight the full 12 rounds and almost winning it. I have no idea if this looks worse on Mario Barrios and that whole weight class. Or maybe Manny Pacquiao is just him.
Breaking the fight down round by round, numerous respected voices concluded Pacquiao had done enough to win. His veteran timing, fast combinations, and consistent work rates stood out. Even Barrios himself admitted to being surprised by Manny's toughness and power. The controversy boiled down to the scorecards. Had a single judge given just one more round to Pacquiao, the fight would have gone in his favor. That razor-thin margin fueled the outrage surrounding the result.
Manny just starts cooking. He's just like, and Freddie said it, like he has this good 6th round, and Freddie was just like, you get him with a 5-punch combination, I think you can get him out of here. Now, I don't know if he was ever at that point. I can't say that Barrios was ever really in danger, but I think Freddie was right. Like, I just think that if Manny showed the threat, I just think it froze Barrios for all these rounds, and so he had a run of like 4 straight. And at my point, he's up on the scorecards, 87-84, which meant all he needed was 1 more round, in my mind. And I was pretty in line with the TV broadcast. I think that we had a little bit of a swing on 8. I think 8 was a little closer, or 9 was a little closer, excuse me. But all he needed was one more round. And and mind you, I bet on him, but I was like, you know, Barrios comes out in the 10th. His trainer's like, hey, man, you can't respect this guy. And it's tough because Manny pulls these tricks like where he's like trying to, delay coming out of the ring because his tape's messed up. Or he's like messing with the guy saying, hey, you're hitting me low. And even the ref would be like, Manny, I'll determine if he's hitting low. But he's so charming. You just look at him and you're like, I can't get mad at him. But Barrios comes down that 10th, has some really good body work. And you're like, all right, I think he took that one. So then it's 96-94. Get to the next round, Barrios, he has some that was the closest that you could have probably leaned Pacquiao.
At nearly 47 years old, simply lasting 12 championship rounds would have been a feat, but Pacquiao did far more than survive. He looked sharp, disciplined, and composed throughout. Many expected him to tire or be overwhelmed by Barrios, but instead,
Everybody say it with me. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Robbery! Robbery! They robbed Manny Pacquiao, the 8th division world champion, 5-time lineal, should be 13-time world champion, the ambassador, the senator, the humanitarian, the greatest karaoke singer of them all, the GOAT, Manny Pacquiao. And did he show he was the GOAT last night in Las Vegas, Nevada versus Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios, he fought good. But he didn't fight like a legend. He didn't fight like a great fighter. There's a reason why I believe that Manny Pacquiao and his wife Jinky, shout out to wife Jinky, believe that he could come back into the sport of boxing, especially in the 147-pound division, because the 147-pound division is nothing special unless Manny Pacquiao with it. Manny Pacquiao was so good that these guys haven't even done nobody has done nothing significantly great outside of Bud Crawford beating Earl the True Spence. In the time that Manny Pacquiao been out, nobody has done anything significantly great. It makes guys like Manny Pacquiao want to come back to the sport of boxing and fix this garbage. Let me go back to the sport of boxing. That's what we're talking about right now in the welterweight division, the rematch between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Manny Pacquiao will beat Floyd Mayweather in the rematch. I said it. I like Floyd, a legendary fighter, but I believe how Manny Pacquiao fought yesterday, and we haven't seen Floyd Mayweather. I know he's still in shape, but this Manny Pacquiao, and the footwork that he displayed yesterday. And like you said in the post-fight interview, he threw a little bit more punch, but of course he's 46 years old. But I'm just saying, even at 46 years old, he's better than all these guys. He'll knock out them like worse than Ryan Garcia did. Because he can't even match up the angles with Lomachenko. Imagine the angle of Manny Pacquiao, right? Manny Pacquiao will beat Brian Oman Jr. Manny Pacquiao will already beat Mario Barrios. Who else in the 147-pound division? And somebody moves up. You know what I'd like to see? Maybe Manny Pacquiao versus Teofimo Lopez.
Experts are now calling for a reform in judging standards to ensure fairer outcomes. Cultural commentator Charleston White was particularly blunt, saying Pacquiao beat Barrios and no official ruling can erase that truth. According to White, the fight didn't need judges, it needed honesty. He insisted Pacquiao dictated the pace.
I think Pacquiao won, but yeah, that was a great fight. I think he won by 1. I think it was a real close fight. I think that youngster stuck to his game plan. He made it hard for him. Pacquiao was more active. I think he landed more punches. But it's hard to kind of give him the belt coming right back. So yeah. I know it will. I think this will bring Mayweather out of retirement. Yeah, I think this will bring Mayweather out of I think it's going to bring him out of retirement. He ain't ready for Tank. He ain't ready for Tank. What about Rolly? I think him and Rolly will make a good fight. They both throw from crazy angles, so I think that'll make for a good fight. Yeah.
No rematch, though. You don't want to see a rematch with these guys?
Yeah, I like seeing a rematch.
You want to see a rematch?
Yeah, I like seeing a rematch.
Does Manny win the rematch?
Yeah, Manny Reed's a rematch. Give him a full training session, Manny Reed's a rematch. Oh, shit, I'm going with Crawford. Yeah, I'm going with Crawford. Oh, man been shot in the head, drove himself to the hospital. I can't bet against that. yeah, it's kind of worm without all them resiliency. tenacity. I can't bet against that. All right, man. Please. Yes, sir.
And that concludes today's video.